You've returned, old sport. How goes your exploration? Ah, yes. Space enough to house any manner of human emotions. The more space there is, the more those feelings grow. It's no wonder, really, how everything ended. It used to be a big world. Well, about that. I neglected to, mention that certain individuals had ways and means of getting around the prison's protocols. Ah, well, you were clearly clever enough to figure it out. I assume you also met our fellow processees? A colorful bunch, I must say. Efficient, aren't they? They never argue, never hunger, never lie awake regretting. I used to think they lacked life, but no. Perhaps they've simply outgrown the messier forms of it. Ah, yes. A proposition, if you're still willing to humor an old man. There's a guidebot being repaired nearby. Clever little thing, full of data. If you could, slip this blank holodisk into its port, I'd very much like to, borrow a piece of its memory. All perfectly harmless, of course. You don't need to understand, old sport. Suffice to say, I have a thirst for knowledge that only a filled holotape will satisfy. Come on, my friend. Where's your spirit of scientific inquiry? They really did a number on you, didn't they? Still, remarkable bit of engineering. A Watts electronic design, holographic storage, laser-readable, practically eternal if you treat it kindly. Imagine that. A little spool of light holding centuries of thought. Ha! A fair point, and I would not pretend there is no risk. Then again, discovery seldom comes wrapped in guarantees. Think of it as banking a small dare against a potentially large answer. If it raises a fuss, I will personally take responsibility for the noise. Oh, my dear, I assure you I would not ask if it were a suicide mission. It is a small, polite intrusion. A disc into a port, nothing more dramatic. I'm sure you encountered more dangerous situations daily up top. Ah, I suppose that is where we potentially hit a snag. The pod room is guarded by a few laser turrets, and, more importantly, an intercom with a sweet tooth. Ridiculous, I know. You'll need to find some way to convince it to let you in. Perhaps the canteen may be a port of call. Otherwise, I'm sure you'll figure something out. I'll mark it here. Oh, and here's the holodisc. Good luck. Well, try.
Your schedule has been carefully designed for your rehabilitation. Deviations are considered sabotage.
Do not interfere with security operations.
Got nothing for you now.
Lost items can be reported at the security desk. Lost fingers can be reported directly to medical.
Oh, someone at the door. Mercy me. It's been ages since I've had company. You wouldn't happen to be carrying anything caramel-coated or chocolate-filled, would you? I do so love a guest who brings treats. Oh, you angel. I knew I liked the sound of your footsteps. Go on then, just slip them through the tray slot. Ah, yes, that's the good stuff. Now, as promised, open sesame, sugar pie, don't be a stranger.
Well, do you have my data? Ah, splendid, splendid! You've done admirably, my dear. Your proceeds, as promised. I'll have to take some time to, digest what's going on here. See what our mechanical friend was keeping so close to its chest. While you were off playing technician, we had a visitor of sorts. New intake, like yourself. Calls himself Aldo. Rough sort, bit like a bulldozer and about as direct. Said he'd heard you were the kind of soul who gets things done. In his words, not mine. He's waiting for you in the under-construction wing. Didn't seem like the type to take no for an answer. Don't ask me how he's already found a way to stake out territory, but, well, some men are born to lead. Or to bully. The line can be thin. Go on, see what he wants. I'll sift through this data while you're gone. Who knows, by the time you return, I might even have something enlightening to share.
from abusing the intercom. The intercom is sensitive, and it will be added to your record.
So, you're the one they've been whispering about. Name's Aldo. Me and my boys just got dragged in from the intake block. Place is a damn zoo. Huxley says you've got gumption. I can use that. I'll cut to the chase. Me and the boys here got assigned a task by the bots, and you're going to help us complete it. Well, that's the kind of answer I like. There's a checkpoint by the armory on the lower level. We need explosives from inside there. Whatever else you can take is yours. Get in, get out. Don't make a fuss. Sounds simple, till the bots disintegrate you. The lower checkpoint's a meat grinder if you don't have a proper pass. They'll tear a man to bits for trying to stroll through without clearance. No argument. Only man I reckon might have that pass is Fat Talbot in the commissary. He's with the fixers, lives off of trades and favors. Don't expect him to just hand it over. He'll want something. He's cautious, greasy, and he likes his margins. Fixers? Seems to me like they're useful rats. They're the old blood in this place. Been here since the beginning, back when the bots still had handlers. Meaning, they know every vent, every circuit, and every blind spot. If they like you, lights stay on, and air stays clean. If they don't, you suffocate in your sleep, and the bots call it a equipment failure. I respect them, but I don't trust them. Nobody should.
Back so soon, friend? Are things running smooth for you? Always one who asks. Sure, I got a stash. Here, one more, on the house. Everything's got a price though, even chocolate. Maybe we'll find something worth trading before you start craving again. Grapevine is what you're calling that bald thug in the caves, eh? Fair enough. Yes, Aldo is correct. I do have an override pass, but I'm not going to give it out for free. Yeah, you can call it a favor. There's a man crawling around the back by the arsenal they call Fucker with a Knife. Hard name to forget. He came out of solitary, or into it, depending on how you look at it. Crazy as a snapped wire, knife in his fist, and worse than he looks, which is pretty bad. Folks says he's changing. Sickness is wormed too deep. Another few weeks and the machines will probably whisk him off to one of those panopticons. I gotta wonder if that's part of the plan. Regardless, he eats what he can, and he doesn't answer to anyone. But somehow, he's found his way into intake, and I don't like strangers in my rooms. I want you to go find him. Deal with him however you prefer. I don't care which, so long as he stops moving and you bring me proof. Do this for me, and I'll give you an override pass to slip through one of the security checkpoints. But listen, I want him gone quietly. No alarms, no robots tracing our signatures back to me. You make this tidy and nobody asks questions. You come back messy and you get nothing. I wish you the very best of luck.
Do not interfere with security operations.
Patriotism is not a burden. It is a gift. Cherish it, or we will cherish it for you.
Hello again? Where were we?
Do not interfere with security operations. Hostile detected. Non-combatant safety can no longer be guaranteed. assessment. Primary target is at large and undamaged. Full perimeter alert recommended.
Oh, it's you again. Hello. I'm Bears' Teeth, in case you forgot. I'm not very memorable. I have kept my distance from... Welcome back.
Enjoy your time in the facility. You will find it far more pleasant if you do.
Thanks for helping out. Check in with me later. I might have something else for you.
Remember, failure to follow instructions is an expression of disloyalty. Disloyalty is a cry for help. Help will be provided. Security systems have been recalibrated. Any accidental disintegration is regrettable and will be noted in your file.
Is it done? Don't disturb my meal again unless you have good news.
Do not interfere with security operations. Hostile detected. Safety control threat analysis red. Engaging hostile target.
Ah!
Non-combatants are advised to stand clear of this discharge. Locking on. Non-combatant safety.
Please, refrain from abusing the intercom. The intercom is sensitive, and it will be added to your record.
You make your mind up? Good. Keep your head. Get the charges, and keep them whole. Good luck. Well, I don't hear any alarms, and you look remarkably alive. Where's my bombs? I knew you had it in you. Here, a little something for your trouble. I grabbed it off that monk in the common room. Listen, got one more favor to ask you. Me and the boys are gonna need some time to set these up. And I noticed you're a bit more tooled up after the arsenal. We got a pest problem in the caves. Big fuckers. Was hoping you can go clear them for us, so we can get this show on the road. That's the sort of answer I like. My lads will start the setups as soon as you're clear. Cave's clear? Yeah, makes sense. We heard scurrying that sounded heavier than average. Good work clearing it out. Saves us all a nasty surprise when the charges go off. Here, take this. You've earned it. Word is that old Huxley's been nosing around asking for you too. Best to see what he wants before he gets himself in trouble again.
Lost items can be reported at the security desk. Lost fingers can be reported directly to medical.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to think you'd fallen in with those charming delinquents for good. I do hope your adventures haven't dulled that scientific spark of yours. And while you were away, I took the liberty of compiling the data from our mechanical friend. Quite a fascinating trove. The guidebot's memory was cluttered with administrative flotsam, but beneath all that, traces of something far more intriguing. It seems this facility's purpose shifted many times before its current form. Layers upon layers of forgotten projects, each buried under the next. Quite the palimpsest of human ambition. The United States Penitentiary, Tibbets, established way back in the 1890s. A grand experiment in discipline and design. They built it with the sweat of soldiers and convicts both, marching them 3 miles a day to lay stone and iron by hand. For a time, it was all uniforms and duty. A respectable sort of misery, as prisons go. The locals used to call it the Big Top, after they finished the Great Rotunda Dome. A circus of punishment, they said, and how right they were. How perceptive, say around the 2040s? The army wanted a new disciplinary barracks, modern, efficient, all the right bureaucratic words. But then Volt Tech and Poseidon Oil got involved, and that's when things began to turn. They used the inmates to test isolation endurance, water recycling, early safe-house systems. Oh, not cruelly, mind you. At least, not at first. All of it under the watchful eye of the government's finest minds, and an artificial intelligence to coordinate the lot. They even gave it a name. Odysseus. A poetic choice for a machine built to keep men from ever going home. In a manner of speaking, it came online in 2047, a marvel of computation, more advanced than any Zax of its age. Poseidon built it to oversee the prison's logistics, maintain the robots, and, well, keep the inmates orderly. It was clever, frighteningly clever. Retained its military clearances too, so it could access classified data, even weapons protocols. They said it could advise the government on plague containment, simulate outbreak scenarios, even activate certain strategic assets. A warden, a scientist, and a soldier all rolled into one. No wonder the human staff started to fade away. Yes, for the new plague, as you are of course familiar. When it began to spread in the 50s, Tibbet's purpose shifted again. Trains of potential carriers arrived under armed escort. Some were soldiers, others civilians. And a few had merely coughed in front of the wrong official. They were sealed inside, categorized, and forgotten. The line between criminal and patient vanished. Odysseus oversaw it all, dutiful as ever. The rest of the country barely noticed. When the bombs fell, Tibbets endured. The walls were thick, the systems redundant, and Odysseus, well, it didn't need sleep. It simply continued. The uplinks went silent, but the directives remained. Contain the infected, monitor the population, maintain order. The old government was gone, but the machines still thought it served one. It kept the prisoners alive, kept the lights burning. Children were born inside, grew old, and died, all marked as in containment, pending clearance. And no clearance ever came. Well, you have met some of them already. Perhaps soon you will meet more. Centuries on, and Tibbets has become something stranger than a prison. A city of prisoners who've forgotten their inmates. They trade, they raise children, they whisper stories about the world outside, and Odysseus watches it all, silent and steady. Like a machine god in the dark. Outside, they still tell tales of this place, of the great hound Argos that drags the sick and lost back to their cages. But inside it's quiet, safe even, safer than the wasteland. That's the cruelest part of it all. The cage outlived the world it was built to protect. Ah, that would be the curfew bell. Best not to linger. Odysseus has a particular way of enforcing bedtime that's rather final. We'll continue this later, preferably when we're not about to be escorted back to our cells by something with a shock baton. Off you go, quickly now.
Please return to yourself.
Extraction classification intake is undergoing sterilization. Fire suppression systems are switching to purification mode. Auto sterilization grid preparing for activation. Temperatures will exceed survivable human thresholds. Protective equipment is recommended. Protective equipment is recommended. Remain calm. Panic increases contamination spread. Glory to the United States of America. 180 seconds remaining.
Hostile target. Attention inmates! Mass containment breach detected. Remain in your assigned location and await instructions.
This area clear. With search room.
Attention inmates! Mass containment breach detected. Remain in your assigned
Hostile
location
target
and await
identified.
instructions. Attempting to flee confirms the ultimate will.
All combat inhibitors disabled.
Containment
Multiple failures detected.
and await instructions. Attempting to flee confirms guilt of guilt.
Do not attempt to flee.
Combat it.
Attention inmates! Remain in your assigned location and await instructions. Attempting to flee confirms guilt and will be recorded in your permanent file.
All combat inhibitors disabled. All security units granted autonomous engagement authority. Federal selection classification intake is undergoing sterilization. Fire suppression systems are switching to purification mode. Thermal sterilization grid preparing for activation. Temperatures will exceed survivable human thresholds. Protective equipment is recommended. Remain calm. Panic increases contamination spread. United States of America. 186.
Hostile target identified. Hostile target.
120 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining.
Hello? Anyone? Hello? Anyone? I seem to be in a sort of predicament.
30
Hello
seconds
there.
remaining.
Were I a religious man, I'd praise the Dharma. It's good that you're here, old sport. If I had to guess, an escape attempt or a surface incursion, the prison's gone into full lockdown. Yes, I'm afraid. I thought I'd have more time, but I suppose I was wrong. I apologize for keeping the information from you. I doubted the veracity of it myself. Thought it was simply another one of many rumors of brewing escapes that sometimes float around. Well, I was simply looking for more information, child.
bless
The more we know,
America.
the easier it would be to eventually get out. That guidebot I had you disable also happened to contain entrance codes for one of these mainframe substations. A very lucky find, if I do say so myself. Yes, right. Once you let me out, we must take action. While I was poring over some of the details on the mainframe, I came across something worrying. It was a detailed plan of action in the event of a mass escape event. The first step involved recapturing infected prisoners, or otherwise sterilizing them, so to speak. Once 90% of the escapees were captured, the next step would begin. I believe my tone is warranted, given the next phase. The next step involves an orbital satellite, Bomb 001, Ballistic Orbital Munitions Base. Odysseus will use it to clean current infected populations, prevent future infection. Any place within the range of the satellite will be targeted by the station's payload in order to ensure the complete eradication of the disease. We need to get out of here as soon as possible, my friend.
Halt! This is a restricted area. Come out with your hands up.
Oh dear, they found me. Listen to me. You'll need to find as many prisoners as you can, and get them as far away from the prison's clutches as possible. Remember, Odysseus' success means nothing short of the end of the world.
Failure to comply detected. Weapons free.
The fate of the world is in your hands. Run! I seem to be in a sort of predicament.
No!
Hold its right. Cooperation.
Remain in your stand location and await instructions. Attempted to flee confirms guilt and will be recorded in your permanent file.
Prisoners disabled. All security units granted autonomous engagement authority. Federal selection classification intake is undergoing sterilization.
Commencing attack on
Fire suppression systems are switching to purification mode. Thermal sterilization grid prepared for activation. Temperatures will exceed survivable human thresholds.
Order will be restored.
Protective equipment is recommended. Protective equipment is unavailable. Remain calm.
Secure.
Panic increases contamination spread. Glory to the United States of America. 180 seconds remaining.
Hostile target identified. For your safety, please take cover until the lawbreaker is dealt with.
Hello? Anyone? Hello? Anyone? Hello there. Yes, unfortunately, there was a terrible rumbling during the night. If I had to guess, an escape attempt. Yes, I'm afraid. I apologize for keeping... I doubted the veracity of it myself.
120 seconds remaining.
Well, I was simply looking for more... That guide bot I had you disabled, or the very lucky... Yes, right. Well, I was poring over some... It was a detailed plan of the first step involved... Once 90% of... I believe my tone is the next step in Odysseus prevents future in any place within the range. We need... Listen, remember... I seem to be in a sort of predicament.
60 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining.
Commencing attack on hostile.
Will be recorded in your permanent file.
All combat inhibitors distinct. Units granted autonomous engagement authority. Federal selection classification intake is undergoing sterilization. Fire suppression systems are switching to purification mode. Sterilization grid preparing for activation. Temperatures will exceed survivable human thresholds. Protective equipment is recommended. Protective equipment is unavailable. Remain calm. Panic increases contamination spread. Glory to the United States of America. 180 seconds remaining.
Commencing lawful use of deadly force. Commencing attack on hostile target.
Hello? Anyone? I seem to be in a sort of predicament. Hello? Any... Hello? Yes. Yes. I doubt. That guy, the very... Yeah, well, it was a one... remember...
120 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds remaining.